everyone. Oh, no.
Whoops. That was an immediate
I told
hiccup.
you we were live.
I know. A good way to
Hi,
do it.
everyone. Hello. I see someone from San Diego. Hi. Welcome to Getting Into Boundary, episode 4. Or I guess we should call this 3. We should technically call this 3.
Yeah, technically 3.
Yeah. I guess, welcome to Getting Into Boundary. If you haven't joined us before on a Getting Into series, welcome. We want you to participate with us. So if you have questions, suggestions, advice, thoughts, general feedback, please put it in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. As you do, be welcoming, respectful, and professional. Just follow our community guidelines. With that, I am Rosemary. This is Cole. We are here. Yeah, hi. We are here to learn we're here to learn Boundary, HashiCorp Boundary, which is a privileged access management tool. We've traversed the universe so far of a couple things, including we got started with Boundary, like what the introduction was, the motivations for using it. You can review our replays, which I will pull up on the series. There we go. You could pull up and review some of the replays. We talked about an introduction. We talked about controllers, and we were talking about workers last week. But Cole, what happened last week?
The usual, Linux permissions. Whoops.
Yes. So we try to show the imperfect route, right? We're not here. What you will in this series, it's not perfect. We're not here to do the absolute amazing, most brilliant path and the happy path. We are here to experience the pain, the sorrow, and the chaos of trying to set these things up by yourself from scratch using some documentation and maybe some community help. But last week we were setting up workers, which are the way that a user can connect to a target endpoint. So a user authenticates to a controller, gets back a token. That means they can connect to a target, right? And the workers sort of proxy that request to a target. Mm-hmm. And so in our case, we had some troubles installing the workers. And rather than peruse a whole hour of us trying to figure out how to install the workers because of Linux permissions, we decided to redo workers. So today we're going to talk about workers, and specifically we're going to focus on controller-led registration and PKI worker registration. Cole, I guess we could talk a little bit about what we tried last week, right? Which was not those two. It was worker-led registration.
Yes. And, as is tradition, here comes my cat to yell
Hi,
about
cat.
all the things. Okay.
Yes.
Go do something with yourself. So yeah, last time we did the worker-led auth for the workers, much to our surprise, because we set out to do controller auth, but when you go through the user interface, it's like, hey, you're going to do worker auth, and we were just rolled with it. We went with it. But I'm hoping that this time we will be able to, at least I went ahead and set it up, but I'm kind of used to, I think we're both kind of used to being surprised on stream, but I'm hoping that we will show very quickly the worker auth led again, right? And then do the KMS and then end on the controller led, which is where we're hoping to head. And I know that for folks that are seeing this as the real episode 3. We also have people that may have seen the previous episode 3. So I'm hoping that Rosemary is cool with redefining and re-explaining the entire concept of workers all over again. Just in,
Sure. Yes. So if you didn't join us for part 3, and we are actually going to be archiving part 3 because while it was fun to show us troubleshooting, I'm pretty sure you didn't want us, running through Linux permissions for 15 minutes. So let's talk about quick overview again of boundary architecture. Remember, there are controllers. Controllers configure all of the important information that needs to go into boundary. This could include a database of targets. It could include a bunch of information about how users authenticate, the groups that they belong to, and the domains they belong to as well. So I think that when we think about controllers, that's kind of like the brains of the whole operation. We'll see how that goes. I think there are some nuances to how controllers actually work and configure, but overall, when someone is going to try to authenticate to a target, they're going to go through boundary controller, get a token back, and that token is allowing them to authenticate to a target. Now, a second part of this architecture are workers, right? Workers are proxies. They're not, I mean, they have some logic in them, right? It's not like I came from networking, right? And in networking, you used to call certain proxies like dumb pipes and things like that. That's not, you can't say they're dumb. There's logic in how they connect to a target. But what they're going to do is proxy the user request from the user's machine through a worker and connect to a target. By extension, this means your worker needs routing to the target, right? So your worker must be routable from someone's workstation, and it also must be routable to a target. That means that workers tend to be on public networks, although if you really want to be a little bit more secure and you want a compensating control in place, you could put a worker on a private network and VPN to it, requires from that VPN to a worker, right? The point is, as long as there's connectivity from the user's machine to the worker connects to the target, you will successfully create a boundary session. So did I miss anything in the explanation?
I think that's good. Got to get to a target. We're going to talk to controller, get back a token. We're going to hand that token, use that token with the worker to ultimately connect through it to a target.
Yeah.
So I think that's...
Yeah, and a target is any TCP endpoint. So if anybody hasn't really tuned into the previous episodes, a target is any TCP endpoint. It could be a website, could be a virtual machine, could be a database, your choice, TCP endpoint.
And hopefully from a user experience standpoint, as an end user standpoint, not the administrator setting all this up, I'll just go through boundary CLI or the boundary user interface and just connect to my target.
Yes.
Just like, make mischief in a database or make mischief in an EC2 instance, right?
Right. Yeah.
Mischief is always good.
It is good. Unless, or you can just offer ephemeral access and someone can only make 30 minutes worth of mischief.
Oh, there you go. Right.
Yeah. That's how boundary works.
Yeah. Contained mischief, right? This is where we're trying to get to.
Exactly. Okay. So now that we've recapped, let's talk about the Terraform infrastructure that we put together.
Yeah. I think that's pretty good. So we went ahead and we have some stuff pre-staged in context of Terraform. So you've seen the previous episodes and we have an environment, like an entire environment stage in context of a network that's got an EKS cluster with some apps in it, as well as all the different security groups and things like that. And the reason being is that the time that we have here, we're trying to scope it to an hour. So we're really trying to focus in on the boundary stuff. So when we kind of, move past certain details, just know that the configuration that we have a link to below us here, that's where you can get all the deep details if you want to go and see them. Now, I know I keep promising a thorough README. I promise I will get to the thorough README. However, if you're watching this in the future, that README probably exists. So good job, future Cole. I'm so proud of you.
What if this part gets archived because it doesn't go well? I don't know. Then you'll have to remind yourself to tell future Cole in the future.
Yeah. So future Cole will, of course, have that finished. As for today, let me go ahead and move some stuff around here. And then I will show my screen so that we can take a look at what we do have. Let me real quickly share my screen. You can see my most incredible Git commit there. Just
actually start. Yeah. Wow, cool. So
I know, right? Yeah.
I'm so impressed with this.
I know. I'm so good with commit. Okay, anyhow.
By the way, we're showing Terraform. We're not going to teach Terraform in this. We use this as a way to just spin up everything after every episode. So we are not going to be teaching Terraform. Not
at all. So we're just going to kind of like graze past, exactly what's going to be there, right? So just to go through the 3 type of workers we're going to go through, right? We're going to, of course, I think we're going to begin with worker-led, which if you caught the erroneous previous episode, that's what we did originally. That's what the user interface will kind of guide you to do. So we have one instance ready to go there that we're going to use. And then we have KMS-led, which we'll talk about, which is the PKI worker that Rosemary mentioned. And then, of course, we've got another instance here that's going to be use the controller-led authentication. Now, The only other thing that's been pre-staged between this episode and the last is all of the security group rules that allow access into these workers, and of course access between the workers and the controllers and the targets. And that is the other thing, is we just have a sample target, just a very simple EC2 instance that's going to allow inbound access from those workers. Not because we don't want to use the EKS nodes that we've mentioned in previous episodes, but primarily we wanted to show both in this episode and the future two things. One, a very, very simple contained example of connecting to a target, and two, how you can differentiate between different targets just in general. So that's the main thing. Obviously, there's some other IAM stuff that's been done, but there's nothing too complicated there. If you're familiar with AWS, it should all be pretty straightforward. So yep, again, we've got the workers ready to go for us to start configuring and tinkering with. We've got all the security permissions and IAM stuff set up with it, and then a sample target for us to connect to.
And a quick note on ports. For boundary workers, you will need inbound, I think, on 9202. 9202, right?
For the workers?
For the workers, yeah.
Yes, so they do have that open. 9202 is open,
Yeah, so they'll need access on 9202. So just FYI, if you're trying to have workers connect to targets and things like that, someone has to have inbound access on 9202.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So we've gone through the recap there. I'm just checking our list of things. All right, let's do worker-led auth.
Okay. We're going to stay simple with it, right?
Yeah, we're going to stay simple with it. So a few things of why we're showing the 3 ways to do it. You may opt to use one of the 3 ways. You may use all 3 of them for various purposes. Worker-led auth is what you're going to get if you try to do this through UI. So we're going to show worker-led registration because that is what you're going to do if you manually register a worker through the boundary UI. So, Paul, are you ready to share?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. So
okay,
these are the various thingy-mabobbers that we have in existence.
Thanks. Yeah, look at that.
Or no, not this one. The worker-led one. This is the worker we're going to begin with.
Yeah, right into this one.
So walk me through what we need to do here.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is go to our boundary admin UI, and we are going to create. We're going to create a new worker. So click the new. Okay, so we're going to need the public IP address, as I mentioned before. Someone needs to be able to connect to the worker. That IP address is the one that you're going to need. In this case, we're running over public IP, so we're just going to do it over public IP. Okay, and then the config path. I don't think we need to configure much of this because we probably, I
think we had to last time.
Oh, we had to. Yes, that's right. We had to.
We're also on Amazon Linux, so
yeah.
So
okay.
I think it's just like
Etsy boundary.d.
That
was it, right? Etsy.boundary.d.
HCL, right? Or no, you're right.
No, you don't need the HCL.
Yeah.
So the reason why this is just a form that you're filling in. It doesn't actually do the registration. It's a form that gives you the config. You're going to copy the config and put it into the worker. So whatever you put in here just has to match what you expect to put on the worker.
Right. Why does it say PKI worker?
This is the Boundary team. By the way, the Boundary team does tune into the stream. Hi, Boundary team. We're so happy that you join us on occasion. So they actually mentioned that it should just be worker.hcl.
I was gonna say because this is definitely
it should just be worker.hcl. So FYI, thank you, Boundary team, for joining us and for taking our feedback into consideration. Okay, so initial upstreams. Remember, these had to be the boundary cluster, the boundary controller.
Yeah, the boundary controller. So we should go grab all those. So
they're all private IPs.
Yeah.
With commas. Yay. Oh, and hello. Hello, everybody in chat.
Yeah. Do you remember those old Tootsie Pop commercials where the guy was like, how many licks does it take to get to the center of the Tootsie Pop?
Those are vintage. Those are vintage.
I know. And it's always 3. It's always surprisingly 3.
Is it though? I didn't actually try.
Yeah, because then he cheats and he bites it and he's like, okay, it's done. Yeah. Anyhow, this is done.
Yeah. We didn't. Do we want to do worker tags? So worker tags are important if you have workers that route to specific targets, and not all workers can connect to every target. So if you have multiple AWS accounts, multiple VPCs, and they don't connect to each other, right?
This is what you did last time, which I think was good.
Yeah. So you would add these tags just to be sure that
Mhm.
these workers can only access like these things in this VPC kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this
All right. And then we
config.
need to hop into that instance, right?
Yes, we do.
Yay. Hold up. Let me grab it.
Yeah.
And we're gonna just start this instead of trying to write a full script for it because we're not gonna spend a lot of time. Yeah.
Nah, yeah, we don't need to write a full script for this.
If we do that, we might run into the Here Be Dragons part where we wind up getting stuck here. Yeah.
So the context was if you do this by automation, meaning like you want to put it in a systemd file or systemd file and all these things, right?
Yeah.
You do want to do it. Make sure your Linux file permissions are properly set and you grant ownership to the boundary group because the service boundary service on these machines runs under the boundary user and boundary group. So you need to give sufficient permission across the etc boundary.d directory. Every file has to have the group has to have permissions to create directories and files in it. So that was what we were running into last time.
Yep.
We're just going to start it because the reality is this, again, this is for manual starting. The likelihood. Huh? No, you just open what? What did you open? Oh, worker.html. You can just overwrite this. It's all commented out.
Right. No, I'm just that's just what is it? Right. No. It's
Okay.
Oh no, I didn't want to. Hold up.
We're having some moments.
Yeah. Wait, what do we want here?
We want the one coming from the UI to paste in there.
Hold up.
Okay. Yeah, so Cole just opened the worker.html, which comes with some default configs that are commented out. So we're just going to overwrite these.
Yes. 1 second.
What are you doing? I didn't see anybody know what's going on? I wasn't watching.
I made this. I guess worker.html is already in there.
It exists, yeah. So because when you install the boundary binary, it will have this sort of by default.
Yeah.
So you can just delete or just don't even delete anything. You can just paste what you already have.
Yeah, 1 second. Here we go.
Yeah. So this conveniently fills it all in for you. Like you don't have to necessarily do it this way, but
does this look good then?
Yeah, that's it. I think that's all.
Okay. Yeah. Sure we don't need. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, cool. That should be it.
All right. So we have that done.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's our boundary should already be installed. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I should just be able to start it, right?
Boundary server, that last one.
Yep. So boundary server config equals, etc.boundary.d
worker. Yay.
.html. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then we need to grab the auth request, right?
Yes. So there is a registration request. This is your token, right? So you're going to grab this token.
Okay.
And you will paste it into the UI where it says worker auth registration request.
Yay.
This is a one-time use token, so you can't use it again.
All right. Done.
Yep, done. And that's that. And we have registered it. So there you go. Now the worker is up and running. It's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah, which one is this? It's 554, so it is 11. This one.
Yeah,
here.
so it's that one.
Yeah.
You could rename it. You can, I honestly like you could do a bunch of things. Like you could just rename the thing. And I usually suggest the instance IP or the instance IP address or DNS.
Yeah.
But you can also just say worker led. I mean, honestly, I don't think it matters that much. But
yeah, I guess maybe for this one since we're here, worker led.
Yeah.
Worker led. Worker.
Worker led worker.
Worker led. Auth worker. Okay, we'll just do that.
Yeah, we'll do that. So this is great for manual registration, right? Again, if you're doing this and you want to manually register a worker, I would maybe put the server start in a systemd, file, and then have it start with the worker config, right?
Yeah.
Just keep the file permissions in mind. Otherwise, there you go. It just registers itself, and now you can use it. It will connect to a target. I don't know if we want to show connecting to a target or not, or
I mean, why not?
okay, keep this open. So start a new tab because we don't have this running.
Right.
Awesome.
Okay, I'm gonna unshare my screen while I get this because I need to have I'm gonna need to auth to boundary, right?
Yeah. So he'll do Cole's gonna do a boundary authenticate.
Yes. 1 second.
In terms of targets, you're going to do a boundary authenticate. This once again gets you into the controller. The controller returns a token.
1 second. I'll just put the password. I'll just export the password so we can actually see the full process.
Yeah. How's everyone doing? I'll answer some questions in chat or say hi. So how many parts are left? We might have, so probably 7 more parts. We probably divided into about 11. It could be more. So 7 more parts are probably left. Although we don't know. We'll see. Sometimes it just takes us a little longer.
Boundary authenticate, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And this should be it.
Yeah, I think unless you change your auth method.
Yeah, I haven't changed the auth method. Okay. So I should probably go show where we found the auth method, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So auth method is right here.
There. Yep. And you can find that there. Yeah. You get the ID.
Okay, cool. Then.
Oh, did you pass in the password by environment variable?
No, I actually just tried to paste it, but I can't.
Did you do boundary address?
I did not. That's what it is, right?
The boundary address, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that thingy. You'll need the 9200.
Actually.
Yeah.
Okay, let me unshare this real quick. Because I know what my autocomplete's going to do. It's going to try to show.
Yeah, it's going to show, the password, whatever. That's fine. So, in other news, like other folks, if you haven't tuned in, we are taking a bit of a break in October because of HashiCorp. You are going to be in HashiCorp in Boston. Say hello. We will be there. But you can also tune in online. So you can just tune into the virtual platform. But yes, we will not be streaming Boundary in October. I know it's very slow, but
what's the flag to skip the TLS stuff on the login? Oh, it was an environment variable, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Hold on.
I got it. Yes. Okay, I got it.
Okay, you got it.
There you go.
Okay. All right. We can share.
Almost.
Okay.
Almost.
Oh,
you're almost there.
Awesome. Zombie builds will be there. Excellent. Yes. Say hello to us. We will both be there. Okay. in various capacities, but do say hello. We do meeting.
We have done the thing.
Okay, so we've stored the token in the keyring. So effectively, what you did not see on the screen was Cole exported the boundary address, so boundary CLI can connect to it. Also TLS insecure because we are using a self-signed cert. So you do boundary authenticate password with the auth method ID, which we found through the boundary UI. And then the username is admin, and we put in a password. And you'll notice then that boundary returns a note that the token name was stored in the keyring. If you are using other platforms, you can opt not to store the token in a keyring. It could be you could store it in a variable. Who cares? There are various ways that you can think about it.
Yep.
Okay, so now we're going to do boundary connect SSH. We want to target your whatever target we were targeting. I don't even remember.
Let's go grab the
actually I don't scope.
Yeah, I don't know if that target stayed that we made last time. Maybe it did. I think it did. No, it can't have because I'm
10.0.104.167.
Yeah, I think that one died though. Let me see here.
Target 1, target 0, target 1.
I don't remember making 2 targets, but apparently I did. Here's one. Okay, so they did get refreshed and remade. So we need to make it brand new. So that works out. We can just show the creation of a new one.
Yeah, since we're in this process anyway. You want to delete the old one? So we don't confuse ourselves. This is why we use the DNS for this, because the DNS for name, because otherwise you can't tell apart. So you target.
Just for my own recap for later, right? We created that worker, then CLI-wise, we pointed the CLI to our boundary controllers, authenticated as a user, right? Now we're going to make a target, and this is going to be what we're actually connecting to, and that's going to be one of those instances.
Yes.
New target. Yes.
Yeah, new target, and you would choose one in the instance. Again, I highly recommend the IP address, DNS name, or something, something that you can use to identify it.
Okay, cool. We'll just do what we did last time. Use the DNS.
Yeah, target address is going to be the private IP.
Okay. So we will grab the private IP.
Yeah. So the route. So a worker has routability to this private IP, right?
Yep.
And route to it. Client port. I don't default port to connect to. Oh yes, 22.
Yeah.
SSH, right? So. And then that's all that we really need. I mean, we don't need to fill in the other stuff.
Yeah. I think we're good. Yeah, and then we'll do alias on a different one, I guess. Maybe since we have 2 targets, let's show it normally first. So save. Okay. Now we have it, and I should be able to grab this target ID, right?
Yep.
Then hop back over, put this in here. And then I remember we did this username thing, and I don't remember why we have to do this.
Because it doesn't know who, it will otherwise use like boundary or your user, like J. Cole Morrison or whatever. Gotcha. You need if you're SSHing, you need to pass in the username. And in this case, because we're using Amazon Linux, we are going to use EC2 user.
All right. So this in theory should work.
Yeah.
And looks like it worked. Yay.
Yeah, there you go. Yay. Okay. So in recap, very rapid recap, because we're coming on the half-hour mark and we have many things to still cover. So you set up a worker manually using worker-led registration. And then we use that worker to connect to a target. Worker-led registration does work. You can automate if you want, although there's a complexity in getting the registration token off of the worker and then bring it back to the controller. So you do have to do some work there if you do want to automate this. So we're going to show the 2 easier routes. Yes. If you have absolutely no option and you can't use the other 2 options, then use worker-led registration. Otherwise, we're going to talk about PKI worker registration, which is sort of the easier auto-magical way to register the worker without copying the token off the worker.
Yeah. So, and also I'm going to throw a curveball at you. 2 curveballs. One, before we do the PKI, can we show some of the like session stuff, since we technically have a live session?
Yeah, sure. You can click sessions.
Yeah.
And the reason.
Wait.
Did you close the session?
Did I close the session? I did not.
No.
Wait, I bet you I just have to refresh, right?
Yeah, probably you might have to refresh. So this is boundaries whole, prop is also to control sessions. It's for session management. So you can also cancel. And if you notice Cole is connected to the target as
so
admin.
See that here.
Yeah.
And then we're just
he
going
can
to
click cancel. Yeah, you can say, oh, this is open. Just cancel. By extension, this means you can set a max duration. So there you go. So you can set a max duration as well as a max number of sessions. So if you only allow one person to connect at a time, you can set that up as part of the target. You can also say, you're only allowed to connect for 30 minutes kind of thing.
Yep. And now they're on. So the other curveball I'm going to throw at you is, as we discussed, I went ahead and pre-staged the KMS led worker. So the PKI worker.
Yeah.
So we can see that up here at the top. And so I guess my thing that I wanted to ask is, how do we know, did we actually, since it's also active, how do we know we actually used it instead of the worker?
Oh, you have a point. We should have probably done the tag on the target. So if we really want to be rigorous about it, we could check the tag. You see the tag there?
Yeah.
So what are the 2 purposes? Both of them are EC2, so probably round robin chose.
Yeah, so it just probably picks at random, right?
Yeah. So we probably should retag the worker-led auth to something else, but
we could just see it. Like, I mean, eventually, if I just do this, right, it should.
Well, I think it shows through targets, through the sessions too. It might show you.
Right. Oh, so here we see it definitely did that.
Yeah. So it did that. Yeah. So there you go. So the worker. Yeah. So this is actually going through our worker-led worker. It's not going through the other workers, but we set it in a way that it could go through the other workers.
Yes. So we will see that. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So KMS one, right? You want to explain the concept of it?
So you notice it was a pain point in this. We had to copy the token from the worker, which gets printed out into some system log somewhere, copy it, and then try to bring it into the Boundary API to register it. And that, from an orchestration standpoint, that can be pretty painful. So what you can do instead is that if you're running on a cloud service provider that has a cloud KMS offering, what you can do instead is configure the worker to reference an encryption key, right? And that, or a set of keys. And that key, those sets of keys will allow the worker to register to the controller. Now, the controller has access to these worker keys as well, right? So when you start the worker, which is what we did, when you start, not the worker, when you start the controller, the controller has an idea that there is a KMS key that it should reference for workers, right? And workers need to reference the same KMS key in order for it to register properly, for anything else to register properly. Now, this is a lot easier from an automation standpoint if you're doing this on cloud. Yeah, because then you don't have to pass tokens everywhere. From a permissions perspective, you just have to grant workers proper permission to the KMS key that is shared by the controller. So if we go to the Terraform, or I guess we could show it in KMS, technically, we should probably just show it in KMS. In AWS UI. Yeah, but either way, I guess both work.
Yeah, here, I'll just, we've already sort of seen the Terraform code, so I can just show it. It's pretty,
okay,
pretty straightforward.
Yeah, so when we created the Boundary cluster in the first place, remember we had multiple keys, right?
Yeah.
We had a root key, the recovery key, which are both for and we had an optional worker key that we never really touched or talked about from the very beginning. This worker authentication key is created with the intention of sharing this contract between controller and worker. Controller knows that this is the key that workers must use in order to authenticate. Workers use this key, right? So if you check out the controller config somewhere.
Oh, real quick, this is a symmetric key, right, by default?
Yeah, I think
pretty sure. Yeah. No, it has to, because when I look back at this, since we have in our file here.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, well, no, I guess we didn't specify.
It doesn't
it has.
I assume it is. Yeah, I assume it is. So on line 104, if you go back to the controller, basically when we set up the controllers, we pass in the ID of that KMS worker auth key. And so if you check the script,
we also pass this in as well.
So the controller config that you're going to include has to have KMS, AWS KMS, right? KMS, AWS KMS is to reference any kind of KMS key that you're going to pass to Boundary, but you have to specify a purpose. And so you'll notice that on line 102, the purpose is worker auth. This means that the controller knows that this key is going in AWS KMS is going to be used by workers to register to a controller. So that's...
1 second. I want to see something here while we have this here. I'm pretty sure this is it, but I just want to see, because we fill in so many defaults. It should just be So they are symmetric. Okay, cool.
Yeah, they are symmetric.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I assume they have to be.
We do. The only other things you have to think about, right, are of course the IAM permissions for the controller right here. We've got those there, and then also the IAM permissions for the worker, which we have here as well.
Yeah. So the worker needs to have the ability to describe the key, right? The worker auth key, decrypt it and encrypt it. So just make sure that you have those permissions attached to the worker's instance profile.
Yeah. And in terms of automating, like, it's so simple because you just pass in, I'll expand this, you just pass in the same key ID, and then we've gone ahead and like added the automation here. All you do is just practically, it is the exact same line.
It's the config. It's the same config. Fortunately, Boundary config. Boundary config is pretty much uniform across worker and controller. So whatever applies for the controller generally applies for the worker, with some exceptions, right? Other than the worker block.
That surprised me. I was like, I'm gonna have to add some sort of different flag. Nope.
Just it's great. Exact same block. At that. Amazing. It's the same block, and it just lets it know that you don't even have to do the description as a KMS worker. You can just say this worker just uses a KMS. Yay, we're done. Everybody's happy.
Yeah. And so this config looks very similar to the one we set up for the worker led, with this being that extra block, and that's pretty much the only difference.
And then you can just start it, which is what we did. We just started the worker because this is all written in user data. We started the worker, and then the worker registered itself to the Boundary controller, and then it popped up in the UI. I think that was pretty much all really happened. Right?
Yeah. This right here was this commit.
Yeah. If you check out the workers,
Yeah.
in Boundary UI, if you click on KMS worker, so for the most part, nothing too much changes. I mean, if you check out tags, I don't know if there was anything unique, but Cole helpfully added type KMS LED. So if you want to, Cole, you can go to the project scope. Yeah, project, and then go to the target. And if you click on that 250 target there, and you can click workers. And then you can edit the worker filter. So you can edit egress filter. Yeah, you can specify workers have access to target. Did I not? I don't want to put on a filter like that.
Yeah, I don't remember how.
I don't remember the filter. Okay, maybe. Well, we got controller LED.
Oh, look at that! Here we can look at what it says to do here, right? How do we do this in the UI? So this is what we have to put in the worker.
Yeah.
But
navigate to the
UI
tags.
to do this.
Oh, type equals KMS LED, right? I think it's type. Yeah. Type equals KMS dash LED. I think that was what we do.
So this is a filter example.
Yeah, we need that filter. Yeah.
So which one should I start with here? This?
Yeah, that tags. Yeah. Use
we
that
can
thing.
Just fill it in, right?
Yeah, we'll just fill it in because it always is tags. So.
Gosh, this is such a. Oh yeah, so there it is. Okay, so we need to go here and write something like this, but we want to do
KMS dash LED.
KMS LED and tags dash type. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, okay, I'll ask it later. Let's go ahead and.
Yeah, you can ask it now, I guess.
Well, it's like if I'm always gonna, I should always find it kind of interesting for the filters when doing this, how we pretty much always are going to use tags here, right? Like this, because this is a defined block in HCL.
Yeah.
But the fact that we have to specify tags makes me wonder, like, well, are we able to not specify tags and instead specify like
you could do name,
public address?
Yeah, right? You could do that too.
Oh, you can? Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, well,
yeah. You have cool. You have access to different metadata.
Okay, cool. Like this is just cool. Yeah. All right, so now this should always go through the KMS one now.
Yeah, let's hope so. We can try. We can connect, and then we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't know. I don't make predictions on what will happen. This is what happens here. I don't know.
That did work. So now, is there anything on this page that shows? No, we have to go back up to workers. Okay.
We'll go to sessions.
Oh yeah, sessions. Refresh. Okay, clear filters.
No. Oh, here we
Active.
go.
Here we go.
Does this No, it doesn't show us. Oh, okay, never mind.
No, it doesn't.
Note to selves. It would be nice if the worker was also shown.
Yeah, that would be nice. Okay.
Okay.
So we have to go back up to here.
Yeah, I'll make that note. I'll make that note. Actually, let me write that down.
Yes.
Put workers in target table. I know that we're trying to be like concise and all, but it kind of helps to know which worker.
Yeah, but here we go. It does, at least on the workers page here, is showing that it's going to the KMS worker. Joy.
Yay. Joy. Okay. Next thing, controller LED.
Yes.
Controller LED. I don't even know why I started that with question. We're just breezing through it. So, again, in order of priority, you would probably want to start with a worker PKI registration, which is what we showed, right? If you have the option. Now, if you don't use a cloud KMS or you're on HTTP Boundary, you have two options, right? You have worker-led registration, which is that sort of thing that we showed earlier, or controller-led. There's like a whole story behind this as to why you would do one or the other, but effectively, if you're doing automation, you get a little bit more control if you do controller-led, right? The thing about worker-led registration is that you have to store the token somewhere, and then you have to use the token, and then making the API call to the boundary controller is it's a lot to sequence.
It is a chicken and egg problem. I do not like it for automation at all.
Right. So the downside with controller LED is that for better or for worse, you do have to kind of know the IP address of the machine. But what you can get around this, right? You can basically do like I'll use this IP address and then I'll just restart. I'll restart boundary on the machine, and that pretty much guarantees a little bit more. How do I put this? A little bit more stable kind of automation. especially if you're using
Okay.
Terraform.
I
Anyway,
have not done controller led auth at all.
That's okay.
So this is
That's
all going to
fine.
be new to me as we go.
Okay. So the first thing is that get into your controller led worker first. We're going to SSH into it.
Okay. Let us go find it.
Mhm.
Where are you, Mr. Controller led worker? You
Mhm.
are probably right here, named controller led worker. And we will SSH into you. Wait, not. Here we go.
I mean, I guess we could generate the token first, because technically, what's the point of us getting the? Well, you know what? We'll set the config first, and then we'll paste the token in and things like that. I think that might be better.
I mean, let's just. I mean, I don't have the. It doesn't matter. We do whatever.
It's fine.
Okay.
We'll do whatever. Okay, so if you go into the Etsy boundary.de/worker.htcl.
Okay.
Folder.
Etsy boundary. Oh wait, just go into the folder.
Yeah, just no. Well, you can open up worker.htcl. Just open worker.htcl.
So worker.htcl. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, here we are.
Okay. So the first thing is we do want to enable the listener, right? That pretty much is we have to. It is a proxy. The address is going to be 000.
Yeah, right. Of course.
Yeah. And then just I don't think we have to enable TLS, right? So we don't do I don't think you need 9202.
We've been leaving it on whatever the default is when this line does not exist.
Oh. Well, yeah, it means I think it's TLS disable is false.
So do we want to explicitly do that?
Just delete it. I don't know.
Okay. This is what we've been doing. We should probably figure out what that default is. I assume it's disabled by default.
Yeah, I think it's disabled by default.
Okay.
Okay, 9202, you can it didn't need 9202, right? As part of the address.
And all the other ones we've specified it. So
okay. For workers?
Yes. So let me double check because we have it here.
Yeah.
So
yes. Okay. Yeah, we do. Yeah. Good point.
All right.
Okay, so then we need the worker block.
All right.
And then we're going to do the initial upstream.
Hold up, we should probably rename this one, right? Like control worker or something.
Yeah, control worker 1 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can also fill in the description.
Yep.
Okay, I don't know. I think this is incorrect. I think this config might be slightly incorrect.
Yeah, we've used initial upstreams.
Yeah. So initial upstreams.
Okay.
And we're going to need the set of controllers.
Initial upstreams. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whoops. That is it, right? Initial
upstreams. Yes.
Okay. Yes.
That is correct.
Okay. And then I will go get those IPs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I gotta go like select them all.
We should have probably just copied them somewhere.
Probably, but this will just take a second.
It's fine.
Or I'll butterfinger it, and we'll be here all day, Rosemary.
That's okay.
Oh, I almost did it again.
It's okay. I mean, if we're here all day, we're here all day. I mean.
Okay, here we go.
Okay. All right. And then we're going to need, we never set a public address, did we?
And the other workers we have.
Okay. Yeah, let's set the public address.
Yeah, so, okay.
Oh, public IPv4, yeah.
Yeah, so, wait. So now I need to go get this guy here. Yes. All right. There's that.
Okay. And then tags.
Yep. We've just been, I guess, type. We can do the whole controller led. That's what I did with the other one.
And then purpose EC2, but what's the point? We just did
it. We got it, right?
Yeah,
we got it.
It's fine. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, not going anywhere else. So.
Yep.
Okay. And then comment out that one.
Yep.
And okay. So in the worker block, we need two more things.
Okay.
Okay, so underneath the tags, it doesn't matter where you put it, but you could do auth_storage_path.
Okay.
And then that's going to be equal to, I think in the worker.htcl that we generated on the UI, it was like Etsy boundary.d worker1, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. And you'll put it in quotes because it's a string.
Oh, right.
But I would suggest like worker, it doesn't have to be worker1. It could just be like worker auth or something. Like, I don't know. It doesn't have to be worker one. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe it does require some uniqueness. But
So maybe just control worker.
Yeah, control worker one or something.
Okay.
That's the name.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Just make it consistent. Hit enter.
Hit enter. Specifically
Yes.
enter. Okay.
Yeah. And then also in this block, we're going to do controller underscore generated underscore activation underscore.
Oh, you lost me there. Say that again.
Controller underscore generated
Okay.
underscore activation underscore token.
Oh my, this is long. Okay.
Okay, it equals, and then you can put an empty string for now. We're gonna fill it in, but you can save this file.
Okay, so leave here for now. Okay.
Okay, so what we're going to do is now do controller-led activation, right?
Okay.
Controller registration. So we're going to go to your CLI, not in your terminal, not SSHing into things,
okay.
right? So
cool. So if I do that, this is gonna kill this. What I need to have the password ready to go, right?
Yeah, you need to authenticate to boundary. Yeah.
Okay. So I should already be authenticated here.
Yeah. So you can we'll SSH back in. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to do boundary space workers space create space controller -led. And then we're going to do a help on the CLI command because I don't remember off the top.
It's just help, right?
Yeah, I think it's help or -- something like that. Okay. Oh, well, it did something.
It just made it.
Okay, it just made it. Exit. Yeah, maybe -- help.
Yeah.
Hold on. We can always delete it. Okay. Name to set on the worker. So like you could just set it. I mean, I don't think it really matters. I like to follow like a naming convention of the host ID. You don't always get the sense that you know what it is, so you might set up something else. But in this case, we know it's control-led worker one, something like that.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
So you want to name it that? Okay.
Yeah, we can just name it that.
Okay. Was there anything else up here that we need to look at?
No, not really. It will just generate. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
It will just generate an activation token, and we'll just need to copy that.
Okay. So control-led name equals.
Yeah.
Control-led worker. I guess I'll just leave it there because we've not been adding the one to the others. But does it need to match the name in the config file?
No, but it's nice if it does.
Okay.
I don't think it needs. We could try chaotically if it doesn't.
So this is the token we need.
Yeah, grab that token.
Okay. We has token.
Yes, you has token. Right. Now go into SSH in.
Yes.
Okay, and then we're gonna root and then go into the worker.htl. All right. And you're going to paste it into that activation token. Okay. So from a sequencing standpoint, if you were to automate this, you could copy this token into an environment file, or you could copy it into any environment variable, and inject it, somewhere, or you could copy it into a file somewhere and have the worker read it right from there. Either way, it just makes it a lot easier. So like if you're trying to spin up workers in containers, right, you could inject them as these tokens as environment variables and then start up the worker as a container kind of thing. So my point is there's a lot of flexibility to getting the controller to generate them and then minting the token and then passing it to whatever worker you're.
So I'm going to have a question after we start this.
Yeah.
But let's do this first because it might turn into a gripe, but there's nothing you can do about it, or I can do about it. Well, there's something that we could do about it. But anyhow, let's do this.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I guess we could start the boundary worker manually. So we can do, you can save, and then you can do boundary server --config equals, etc/boundary.d.ecl. Yeah, that thing.
Okay. And then this should, in theory,
start it. I don't know. We don't know these things.
Worker cannot contain name or description when using.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can go into the HCL file. You can just delete the worker, the name and description.
Interesting.
Yeah, because it's already predefined because it's controller-led.
In the controller-led one? Okay.
Yeah. So
that's weird. You know what? I'm gonna, for my own purposes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put this in here. Controller-led cannot have name or description because this is done. I don't know how to finish that note, but I'll remember what that says. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay. Because this is done in the controller. So.
All right. So now it should do it.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And it did it.
So it enrolled, I think.
Let's go see in the UI. Yeah.
Let's go see.
Shall we?
Yeah, let's do that.
Aha, look at that.
That's it. Controller led worker 1. There we are. Oh, look at that. And
cool.
you can just the tags and, there you go. Cool. So again, in terms of automation, you might find it easier to just you controller led and then have it re-register. Now there's some kind of like, there's again, chicken or egg issue. Like what happens if you scale down an auto scaling group, for example, and you have to deregister these things? Well, you probably have to have some kind of sequence that just says like, we haven't seen this worker for a while and we're going to delete it out of Boundary. Boundary does have health checks. So you see like that last scene. If the worker doesn't report status, it won't use it. So, you could very well just go through and clean it up after the fact. But in terms of like what in my view, while worker led registration using that token works, you have a lot of stuff that you have to sequence in your own startup in order to ensure that you store the token or you pass the token properly to the Boundary controller somewhere.
So real quick, let me unshare my screen and go ahead and re-authenticate in a new terminal tab so we can see us using this one. So
don't forget, I think the target, we have to change the filter too.
Yeah, because we have that. Yeah. And I was hoping, since we were actually good on time here, I'd like to maybe set up that second target and just use an alias, because that was pretty straightforward, if I recall. Why are you laughing at that?
Sorry, I'm trying to also figure out our agenda and see if we miss it. Because you're like, we're faster than usual. And I was like, wait a second. I was like looking through everything. I was like, oh wait.
Pretty much it.
This is the first time we're fast. We've actually run 8 minutes fast. Wow.
I do have a quick question though.
Yeah.
Well,
it's okay.
It's around automation actually, but
yes.
Okay, let's see here. I should be re-authenticated now. 1 second. Let me see if I can indeed connect. Yes, okay. So now I'll reshare my screen.
Sorry, I was giggling because I was looking at the time. I was like, wow, we were faster on this one.
Right,
that's why we're deprecating part 3.
Yeah.
This is the new part 3.
Yeah. All right. So I'm in, but as we see here, if I go back over to workers, this is going to still have me probably in the KMS one, I imagine. Yep. So do you want to make a new target now?
Do we have to, or we could just change the?
Well, just to show like the alias thing real quick.
Oh, okay. You want to show alias? You're jumping into aliases already?
Well, just for the target, because it was like, I'm pretty sure all we do is just come in here and make a new one, because we have this second.
Yeah. Make a new target. We have some.
So we have this.
I wasn't going to introduce aliases until we actually got to the targets, but
Yeah, I mean, but we've pretty much shown most of the target, right? At least the simple ones.
Yeah, right? We did.
So, all right, let me do what we did before. So we're going to name it after the DNS, a target with alias. Okay. And target address, got the private IP, right? Still look correct. This needs to be 22, and then alias. Shall we call this? What shall we nickname this?
Josie, the cat.
Okay, Josie cat. Okay.
That's Cole's cat. So
okay.
I don't know. I'm just picking something at this rate.
That's good. That's good. I like that. So then save, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So save. Now we have alias. So now we should be able to just go into it, right? With the alias?
I guess so. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we do need to get back to that.
So we should be able to, if I recall,
connect.
Maybe do help so we can see if
help is important because
where the alias is. It should be.
No, I think it has to be.
If I recall, you don't even need.
No, you don't need it. I don't think. I
don't think there's a flag. You can just like type it.
Yeah.
But it would be nice if that was written somewhere in here, right?
I don't know. What version of Boundary are you on?
I mean, we updated it to the latest, so.
Oh, okay.
So we still need username. Right?
Yeah.
To user, but then we should be able to put Josie Cat, right?
I think so. But if it doesn't work,
You have target ID.
Yeah, I don't know if that's how aliases work. Hold on.
Yeah, we should probably look that
We
up.
didn't plan this one, so
Yeah.
hold on.
Oh, that worked.
Yeah, okay.
That worked. You just had to put it
reversed it
in between.
Yeah.
Okay, so mortar does matter for that.
Yeah.
But now, all right, there we are.
There
So
you
we
go.
are in 13423, which is indeed this one. Where is the
We didn't set worker filter though.
We didn't. So which worker are we using?
We are using controller led. I thought that was the point, or we don't care.
Well, we might, right? Or it might be using a different one, right?
It's using KMS.
Yeah, it's using KMS, but that could be at a pure chance, right?
Yeah, it is. Well, it kind of round robins it.
Yeah.
So yeah, whatever's available.
So let's see. So let's go back and I guess change this target to use the controller led one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, target with alias. What was this under? Workers?
Workers,
right? Yeah. And then we do this, and then what was the?
It was type.
Yeah.
It was, tags.
So type, tags.
No, it's tags type. Tag slash type.
Tag slash. Oh,
type.
yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. Because we do it type. First.
Yeah.
And then I forget what we called it.
Controller led. I don't know. I can see.
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah, I think you're right.
See it. Yeah. Let's ETRL.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. We can
just
exit.
in case. Let's go.
Destroy the session and restart it. So.
Oh, right. Well, now we're okay. Well, let me. I just want to see the tags here, just so we know. Yeah, controller led. Okay. All right. So that should pop up there. We will exit.
Yep.
And now when we connect again, it should go to.
There you go. Yay! See, look at that.
Yay!
How lovely. We did it. We did it.
And if I were to connect to the other target, it would go to KMS, right?
Yeah.
Because we also have.
That's correct.
Filter. Yeah.
That is correct. So now we showed aliases. So if you really want to make it easy for yourself and connect by an alias, right? Because you don't want to do that IP or the IP. You don't want the IDs and things like that left and right, which is very nice not to have to do it. Yeah. You can use an alias, and that makes it a lot easier.
I have a question for you now.
Yeah.
In terms of automation for this, this getting the controller, the controller-led command, since that is just an API call, is there a Terraform resource for this?
Yes, there is.
Oh, there is. So okay, so I can. All right, so I can make a triple recess to get the controller-led, and then dump it into.
It makes it so much easier.
Okay. Yes. Wow. Thank goodness. I was about to say if that wasn't there, I was about to start steaming.
Yeah, it's I think it's controller led. Yeah, so you could do a controller led, and then I'll paste it in the chat for the documentation. But
okay, yes,
you can check it out. The provider does have the ability for you to declare a controller-led worker object, and then it will make an API call to grab a token.
Can you Slack that to me real quick so I can just open it on screen here?
Oh, yeah. That's cool. Okay, there you go.
Yay. All right. Let us go and check it out.
Yes. So I found this to be more reliable from an automation standpoint.
Wait, so where is this?
It's so yeah. So you see, if you don't specify it, leaving the worker generated token auth blank, you'll get that controller generated token.
Wait, what? What do you mean?
So if you leave worker generated blank,
like
above, go to the example.
Yes.
And see. So the example is if that's the controller led Terraform resource.
Wait, I don't. You don't have to do anything other than that.
No, and then you just get the output of controller led with controller generated activation token, and then you pass it to your
the EC2 instance.
Yes.
Wow, that's way easier.
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, there are some caveats to this, right? Like it requires it to be pretty deterministic on how many workers you intend. So if you try to scale up a bunch of workers really quickly or scale down, you may have some stuff left over, orphaned workers left and right, these kinds of things. So it's sort of which way do you want to go about it? If you do worker-led registration, that's not PKI. I'm excluding PKI because PKI is automagical and it's wonderful. So you could just use PKI. But if you don't have Yeah.
HCP, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
But I would say, like, if you are pretty deterministic about how many workers you have and things like that, you're not planning to do any fancy auto scaling and things like that, just use controller led, because you know what, then you can just pass the controller led token in for any unique number of workers that you're generating. If there's an auto scaling group and things like have to, delete and things like that, you don't have to worry about a bunch of like worker registrations happening and churning and doing random things.
Yeah.
I
have a question.
Yeah.
I have a question. So when you say like worker cleanup, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, if I have my workers being created through an auto scaling group, they will come up and down. And what'll happen is I won't necessarily have the EC2 instances around when I auto scaling up, but in Boundary, the concept of these workers, these controllers, won't be taken down automatically when the EC2, their paired EC2 instance goes up. Example, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How? I mean, do we not have a? Yeah, I guess you would have to have some sort of hook or something when the instance is auto scale to like trigger or something like that. But
so
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so you could have a hook that just removes it. You could also have part of your system unifile. You can also have an exec stop command. When the VM or when the process stops, you can deregister the worker from Boundary, right? Now that requires that you do have a Boundary API key and things like that in order to run that kind of command. So
that's true.
Yeah,
Because
it's a bit challenging. Yeah, it's a bit challenging in that regard. So there are a lot of, and from a user experience standpoint, there are a lot of improvements that we can make in this area. So we've noted the feedback. We will try to make it easier, whether you're using control worker with some other alternative other than PKI, if you can't use PKI, right? There are other options you can consider too.
All right.
That's
so
that. Okay.
We set up 3 types of controllers.
Yeah.
Right? Or 3 types of workers.
3 types of worker registration, worker-led registration, worker-led PKI registration, and controller-led registration.
And then we did 2 targets, one just normal and then one with an alias.
One with an alias.
Can I just say that I didn't accidentally show credentials at all on screen this time?
That's okay. I'm proud of you.
That's pretty impressive. Yeah.
Oh, we have a question. We have one last question before we close out close out the stream. If you have 3 controllers, 1 per AZ, then an ASG in each AZ for workers, is Boundary available as unaware as the potential for cross AZ traffic? Controllers Boundary AZ aware. That is a good question. I don't think it's availability zone aware. One thing, it will by extension try to do cross AZ traffic. So in that case, you may end up passing an upstream to the worker that is so for example in that Cole, if you could pull up the upstream, the worker config.
Yes.
Right.
Like this.
Yeah, like that. So what you might need to think about is whether or not you pin the initial upstream, that list of controller addresses, if you just pass in one controller that's for that AZ. So if cross AZ traffic is a concern, you might do that. I think Boundary's not AZ aware, so it's just going to you could choose whatever's available.
Couldn't you do it with worker filters too? I mean,
no, it's not for worker to target. This is for workers registering to the controllers.
Okay, gotcha. I don't.
It's a good question.
Right, I've got this on there. Okay.
Yeah, it's a good question though. I don't think it's AZ aware, unfortunately. So you may have to pin the initial upstream to specific AZs, right? For registration. But I will ask. That is a very good question.
Yeah. Huh.
I don't think it. I mean, I guess by network latent. I wonder if there's like backend, if there's some kind of latency check that it does. But I don't think it's like
Well, this is for an AS. This is an auto scaling group for each AZ for workers, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's asking if you. I think he's asking if you connect into a worker, will it know to go to the closest? I don't know. I think we need more clarity because is he also? It's either
if it's for targets, then you have to set up filters, right?
Yeah, then you'd have to do filters.
Yeah.
If it's for controllers, then we would have to.
I don't think it's AZ aware. I think it might have some kind of latency calculation as well as some kind of worker availability. But it might be helpful just to figure out if there's like what the algorithm is for it determining worker to target.
Yeah. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, We did it. We didn't get lost in debugging.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, we did it.
We showed all 3. I didn't know if we would get. We even had extra time. I mean,
I know, right? This is a first for us.
Yeah.
So anyway, folks, thank you for joining us on Getting Into Boundary. Technically, part 3. Although, you know, it's 3, it's labeled 4. I think I'll probably have to just skip part 3 or just like take it down. I don't know. We're gonna figure it out. Maybe I'll rename this one to part 3 and then, but it's just too confusing. I really think it's just too confusing.
I always call it 3.
Yeah,
but we'll figure it out afterwards.
We'll figure it out afterwards. And then we'll call the next one 4. The next one will be hosts and targets. So we will go deeply into host catalog, targets. We manually register targets, but it turns out you don't have to manually register targets because Cole and I are big fans of automation. We're going to not manually register targets.
No, we'll do it. Yeah, we already did that, right? We showed that today.
Why should we do it today? Why should we do it another time? With that, though, we are going to, again, take a break for October. So you will probably see us resume in November. We'll figure out schedule-wise if it's possible. But we will keep it to an hour and every 2 weeks.
Yeah, here's the thing.
Why did you do this? Why are we doing this? Okay. All right. With that, thank you everybody for tuning in, and we hope that you join us for the next one. All right.